Germany. It is Tuesday, April 18th, and we have some news today. And I'm back at my hometown, back from my trip to Hamburg over the weekend. So we can do these news together today. Let's start right away here with our Nasdaq, like always. Nasdaq is up today, back at 13,280 points because of good economic data from China. And as we can see here, okay, we cannot see because of all the lines. I will just delete all the trend lines, and then we see we are back at the previous high points. So the previous high points from the last trading week were here at 13,200 and what was it, 55. So we are right there, a little bit above, but you see the parabolic turn to a downtrend and will probably act as a resistance here, sitting right above 13,300. And there was the previous high point, 13,349 points. So between 13,300 and 13,350 we should find a resistance to go back to the downside. And the previous in previous trading days we have seen that the 20-day EMA acted as a support level, so it should still act as a support, but now at above 13,000 level. And of course the 9-day EMA is as well a support level here. Then we have Euro US dollar. So I still have a short position here. It went really good from the entry point here at 110.50 where I entered the short position. So I should have closed it yesterday when we reached the Fibonacci level. As you can see, we just touched the Fibonacci level and then turned back to the upside. But now this previous support level here should act as a resistance. So I don't believe that we will go back above 110 unless there are more good economic news. Then of course the euro can rally more. But I think that the 110 will be a hurdle and therefore should act as a resistance here. And I'm still sticking to my 100k short position in Euro US dollar. Then we have wheat is interesting today. It's up 0.6% and was up the 2 previous trading days. So we are back at the previous resistance. As you can see here, this was the previous high point. We tried to go above, but then were rejected again, and tried a second time, wasn't able to go above. So now the third attempt, and yeah, if we are able to go above, then probably we will hold above, and there will be higher target points above 750. So if I zoom out a little bit, you will see the previous high point here was at 809 points. So I'm not aiming at the 800 level, but if I redraw the Fibonacci levels here from the previous low to the previous high point, then you clearly see we made this 50% reversal and then were rejected from there. So now this is the next Fibonacci level acting as a resistance here, was a previous low point, acting as a resistance here. And as soon as we can settle above, then we have room here back to the 752 area. This would be the next target I would aim with my long call to. I have still the 700 strike long call and a 585 strike short put, which is already at 80% profit. So it will probably be closed today or tomorrow, the short put, but I will hold the long call until we see 750 and then close it. Then we spoke about crude oil in the previous trading week, and it was rejected here. You see this was the previous high point. So here was the previous high point, and this was a high point in the previous week on April 12th, and now we were rejected to the downside. We still have this open gap here. So if the market can drop, then probably we will see that this gap is closed here, and when the US dollar is getting stronger, then probably crude oil will also pull down, because in the foreign currency crude oil will be more expensive and therefore there will be less demand for crude oil. Interesting is also TLT, the bond ETF, because we have seen that the prices went to lower levels again, which means that the interest rates are higher now. The same with the interest rate expectations. So let's go to the interest rate expectations here in our economic calendar. We will have building permits in about 5 minutes. This will move the market probably. Let's see, still 1 hour until the market opens. And here the interest rate expectations, we now see this big shift here back to the 25 basis points move. 84% now for a 25 basis points move in 15 days, and only 16.5% for no change here. So we see, because of the good Chinese economic data, we had higher crude oil prices, we had the weaker US dollar, and we had a higher interest rate expectation. Now to the probabilities, we now see that the expectation is now sitting longer here at the high point at 5.25%, and then going to lower levels and ending the year at 4.75%. So you see the big shift from 3.75 to 4.75 in just 4 trading weeks here. It can still shift to lower levels as soon as the market participants will see that this is maybe a worse than expected recession, but it will take time, and it can take time until June. Mid or end June is my expectation that we'll probably see if it's worse than expected recession or not. Okay, so natural gas, also interesting. In the previous trading days on Friday and Monday, we had big pushes here, so we tried one last time to go below the $2 here, and had a low point of 194.6 for the May future, and then we saw higher levels. Closing on Friday was at $2.11, and then yesterday this big push to the upside. This was about a 9.6% move, but closing was here at the 7.7%, right at the level we were talking about with the $2.25. You see here this Fibonacci level, and we closed above. So this was a bullish sign here yesterday, closing at $2.27. So today we pushed to high points of $2.35, pulling back right now, but it's still bullish. I think that we can retest soon the $2.50 area, or at least the next Fibonacci level here at $2.47. So I'm bullish for for natural gas, and I have a long position in the natural gas future, as well as a 2-strike short put. So this went pretty good now because the prices went to higher levels, but I believe that we have now seen the bottom line here at the $2 area, and we are still waiting for the clear breakout above the 225 level. We are fighting here with this area, but probably we will see soon higher levels. My expectation is to see the $2.50 area, or right below the 250 area soon. Okay, then one last view on WIX. It's down to 16.88 today, so really no fear here at all. I don't know if it will stay this calm, what the market is expecting right now, but yeah, we will see. I will take a long position here in WIX to profit from more fear in the market in the next trading days and weeks. So let's see what the news will bring us here. And now let's move on to a lower time frame for our Nasdaq chart here on a 1-minute time frame, and see the news and what the news will do with the market on a 1-minute time frame. We still have 1 minute left. It's still 1 hour before the market is open, so not a lot of volume here, but of course the news will move the market. The expectation is 1.45 million. Previous number was 1.55, so we still see a lower expected number in terms of building permits. Yeah, why? Because there's less demand for new buildings when the interest rate is this high, but we can see that the previous 2 times we had higher than expected numbers. So this time the forecast can be too low as well. Let's wait and see. Our important levels are here right above at 13,300 and 13,350. These are the important levels to the upside. Here 13,300 and 13,350. This will probably act as a resistance area. And right below we see the closing of the low point of yesterday the closing of yesterday and then the 20 EMA level right at the 13,000 area. These ones will be important for sure. So news are out. Let's see. No movement at all here. Really calm market. So let's see the news. And building permits are lower than expected. So yeah, it's again showing some signs of a recession. So the interest rate levels are too high, and therefore there's less demand for new houses and therefore less building permits. Yeah, there's less risk of an inflation now. This is good. This is what the Federal Reserve wants to see. This can push the market in short term, but in longer term, we'll probably see the expectation of a slowdown in economic growth and therefore a slowdown in economy overall, and therefore maybe a priced in recession risk. It's not really bad, this number, but you can see this big slowdown in the previous months here. And yeah, therefore I think that we will soon see more signs of a recession, and this is not a good sign overall, but it will take 1 or 2 more months that then we can probably be sure with the recession here. Okay, let's see the other news for this week. So yesterday we had the speech of Lagarde, then no interesting economic news from the US, just the Tuesday event. New York Empire State Manufacturing Index was higher than expected. So this as well led to the rising prices here, because the expectation was -18 and it was positive 10.8. So yeah, therefore we had this big shift to the upside here with 80% probability or more than 80% probability of a 25 basis points move, and now you see 89% probability at the moment. But yeah, the more we see weaker economic data, the more the fear of higher interest rates will go down. Tomorrow we will have CPI for Eurozone, so this one will be interesting for all traders in Europe, but not really important for the US traders. But you see here the inflation rate is still expected to be at 6.9%, so a lot higher than the 5% in the US. We will only see crude oil inventories as the only 3-star event tomorrow, so nothing really important here. And on Thursday, this one will be important: Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index and initial jobless claims and existing home sales. So I will try to live stream one of these events here. And on Friday, no 3-star event from the US, so nothing important from there. So the next live stream will probably be the day after tomorrow. Here I will try to live stream right at market open if it's possible for existing home sales. Then we will probably have more volume and can also talk about initial jobless claims and Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index. Let's see what the market will bring us today. So the news were good from China, and this can lead that the market will retest the previous high points, 13,300 or even 13,350, and then see lower levels again. So we are pushing right back to the 13,300 area right now, and I'm still expecting lower levels in about 1 or 2 months, and therefore I would look for short entries into the market and not trade it to the long side for too long, because I'm not expecting the market to see a further rally to the upside. Yeah, there can still be some small pushes, but I'm not expecting 1,000 more points to the upside, but you never know, everything is possible here. Let's just talk about some other stocks and then close out this live stream. Nvidia still holding below the resistance area. I'm still waiting for pushback into the area here to short it. We talked about the $283 level. We still haven't seen it. The previous high point here was right the $280.00 level. And as well as Tesla, not really interesting, just trading sideways here at the previous neckline. So just on my watch list, no trades here. Then we have gold is interesting, because gold was making higher highs in the previous trading week. As you can see, $2,063.40 was the previous high point on Thursday. Then we went to lower levels on Friday and Monday, but we are still in this uptrend here. It's still uptrending, and as long as we don't see a slowdown in economic growth, then we will probably see no sell-off here in gold. But be prepared, when the economy is coming to lower levels, then we will probably see a sell-off back below the 2000 area here for gold June future. Let's talk about ES. So ES is stronger than Nasdaq. You see we are above the previous high points. It's still uptrending. It's above the 9 EMA level. So it's a lot stronger, and you see the parabolic is below the current chart. So this looks a lot better than Nasdaq here. But yeah, Nasdaq as well is strong right now. We are near the highs from the previous week. But it's looking better here for the ES. So which means that the smaller cap stocks are pushing harder than the bigger ones. And this is what we can see here in the S&P 500 index. So the next target to the upside would be the previous high point here, which was at 4,244 points. So there's still some room. I would say it's an area maybe. So the previous high points here from these days and the overall high. So between 4,225 and 4,250, let's say this is the area where we can aim to if you want to trade to the long side. So there's still some room to the upside here, 0.6% and maybe even 0.9% to go back into this resistance area here if we don't see a sell-off before we reach this target there. Yeah, some other commodities which are interesting still on my watch list is sugar. No trade yet here. It's just trading sideways, so I'm waiting for a clear break to the downside and to see lower levels. You see it just trading sideways today, but it's looking interesting. It's in a consolidation phase, stage 2 of a reversal, and I'm waiting for a clear break below 27.60, 27.50. Closing below there would mean that we will have more room to the downside. So still waiting here and not entering too early. The same for orange juice, but orange juice is looking more interesting here because you see we had tried to go to lower levels yesterday here, and we opened today at the same price like yesterday, but I want to see a closing below the 270 area, and then I can be sure that we will probably go to lower levels, and stage 2 of a reversal here, consolidation phase, is ended. Yeah, just be patient and wait for closing below 270, and then it's more interesting to take some shorts. Target would be here, this area, 240 to 245 cents. Like always, no investment advice. It's just my own trading style here, and you take your own decisions and your own due diligence. What else is interesting? Yeah, soybean meal, we were talking about these. I had a trade here from the low point here to this interesting level here. Then it was rejected at the next Fibonacci level. It went again to the upside, was rejected again. So we had a double top, but we are trying to push above now here, right now. It's really interesting to see if we can settle above. This would mean more potential to the upside because more stop losses will probably be triggered, even if the commercials are really short in soybean meal futures here. So you can trade it to the long side, but you are trading against the commercials. So it's maybe more interesting to wait for higher levels to come and then short it again. It's still on my watch list. I have no trade idea right now, but I will keep an eye on soybean meal futures. Yes, that's it. I think we have gone through all the major things here. I'm still holding the Euro US dollar short. You see, we already went to lower levels. So after the news, US dollar is getting stronger, Euro is weakening here. And for Nasdaq, the same. We tried to touch the 13,300 level, were rejected there. But when the market opens, we can try one more push here to retest previous high points at 13,350. And then I'm expecting to see a sell-off with more potential to the downside. Yeah, depending on the news. There are not a lot of news for this week, but we will meet next time on Thursday, and then we can see Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index, initial jobless claims, and existing home sales, and we will get a better picture of the direction of the market. So I hope you will have some decent profits today. I wish you a happy trading, and if you like my stream, then please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so far. We will meet the day after tomorrow for market open. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.